Hello, friends, and welcome to Season 3 of Hops and Hedges, the podcast where we talk about beer, landscaping, and everything in between. I'm your host, Heather Gerard from My Landscape Artist, and I am so glad you're here. Hops and Hedges is proudly sponsored by ext.tech, and you're going to want to stick around until the end of the show for an exclusive discount code to use for their powerful CRM software and mobile app. Now crack open a cold one, and let's dig in. There we go. With me today, all the way from San Antonio, Texas, is Dr. Robb Kelly. He's the CEO of the Robb Kelly Recovery Group for 15 years and counting now. Dr. Kelly, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Great to be here, Heather.
Excellent. I hope that people are not just listening in their cars, but they're also watching because you have the best glasses. Like, there are so many pictures of you online, and I have a thing for lime green, and you are just wearing the most fun. Like, you can't be angry wearing those.
Correct. That's what I'm talking about.
I love that.
You know, I have 22 pairs right now. And the reason why there's a couple of reasons. One is I don't care what anybody thinks of me anymore, number
Love
one.
that.
But two, the great conversation starters. And probably 7 out of 10 people that start conversations are hurting inside or going through something. It's amazing. If I could spend 20 minutes with them, and set them on the path of healing, then I'm happy, man. Job's been done for that day.
I love that. I also, as a landscape designer, I often like to include or incorporate some sort of fun or some surprising element in the garden to kind of spur that and initiate those interesting conversations. So you're not just having a garden party. You're having a garden party that has a zombie lawn gnome like 6 feet away from you that someone is going to say something about it. And it's going to kind of take the conversation to who knows where.
Yeah. Brilliant. Love it.
So for those who don't know you or what you do, can you let our listeners know who you are, what your company is, and why you're amazing?
Thank you so much. Hey, guys, my name is Dr. Robb Kelly with 2 Bs over here in San Antonio, Texas. But as you can tell from my accent, I'm from East Texas. No, I'm not. I'm from England. And I've been in Texas for 20 years. I came for 3 weeks on a speaking gig and never went back home again. We have 4 businesses. We have the Robb Kelly Group, which is a psych. We deal with alcohol, drugs, depression, anxiety, PTSD, Alzheimer's, all the stuff. We have a 98% success rate, which is unheard of, over about 25 years with about 11,000 patients. We have Breathbox Studio, which is an online and in-person software that rearranges the structures of the brain. So we can cure depression, addiction, PTSD. We cure that all day long. I mainly work with high profile people, like a concierge doctor. Next door to my offices, everyone thought we were crazy, but we opened a British restaurant serving British food only with British staff. And that's going pretty good. And then, of course, I have the nonprofit that we run to help people out.
Just a couple of things.
Couple.
Yeah.
Not much.
Wow. Just
so everybody says,
incredible.
oh my God, how can you have 4 bodies? I work 4 hours in the office here.
Yeah.
I very rarely go in the restaurant unless somebody asks for me. Somebody runs a nonprofit and I have a staff team running Breathbox. So I'm a stickler on 4 hours a day these days. That's all I need.
I love that. Well, and you've put the right people in the right place, right? So you've surrounded yourself with a team that doesn't need to be micromanaged and you can trust them to do what they need to do.
Correct. Big in business, guys. If you're into business or starting a business, surround yourself with the people that don't need to be asking what to do every 2 seconds. Surround yourself with people like you or train them like you. And then act as if they own the business and they'll run it for you amazing and pay them well. You know, people in treatment centers get paid like $12, $13, $15 an hour. Some of my coaches are on $150 an hour.
Yep.
You know, if you're earning money, pay them well.
Absolutely. I know that's something that a lot of landscape professionals here, I'm sure in the States as well, that there's kind of this, I would say, struggle or this challenge of finding good quality employees. But it is so competitive out there that if you are not paying not just a living wage, but a competitive wage, and you're going to attract people who have no experience and don't have that drive and aren't willing to take the reins for you.
I think we must be, very few of us did this, but because back home waitresses, it's a job and they get don't get a basic, an hourly rate, which is good. So our waitresses are on $15 an hour. with free food and stuff, but plus tips. And the tips, if there's two people in the afternoon, the tips will be $400 or $500. So they're walking away with $225 tips and then the $15 an hour, which I think is fair.
Yeah. And that's pretty good tips, right? So
It's
when
very good.
you've
I
got
think so. None of us had experience in the restaurant industry, Heather. We just decided one day that I'm going to bring my sister over from England and they're going to kind of run it. And the first day was absolutely mayhem. Nobody, I don't know how to run a restaurant. My sister was found at the back of the kitchen on opening day crying, washing the dishes.
that
And
sounds
I'm
like
like,
me.
Sandra,
Yeah.
what are you doing? She's like, I can't. They came from everywhere. But the thing is, as well, is I was out there, talking to people and the food come out late. Some of it came out cold and everybody says, we don't care. It's a
Yeah.
British restaurant. We love England. So yeah, we've learned a few things from there.
That's amazing. So British restaurant in San Antonio, Texas. And so what's on the menu?
Oh, God, fish and chips, fresh fish, very important in Texas. Nobody does fresh fish. Pie and chips, sandwiches, everything from England, if you're an Anglophile, or you've been over to England, everything you could buy there is probably served at the shop. Scones, afternoon teas,
Nice.
formal dress up for afternoon teas. We're having a huge, it's called the Old English Tea Shop, by the way. We're having a huge Titanic afternoon on the
Oh,
day the Titanic, launched or something. But yeah, so we've got, we have themed things, kids, loads of parties with children, princess parties, Harry Potter parties, and I'll dress up as Harry Potter, would you believe? Um, just with boring round glasses that are black. But
oh,
yeah,
that's awesome.
we cater for the community,
That is so
So
cool. I'm
yeah.
actually I'm directing a stage play in November that's set in the like a 1980s dance club, like big band
Nice.
type thing. So we're actually going to encourage audience members to come in their best phase,
Oh yes.
right? Like get involved,
Yeah.
get into it.
Titanic people are saying, come dressed. So we have like a boarding pass that we're going to give on the way in. And there's a big block of ice outside. There's going to be stairs, like as if you're going on up the ship.
Oh
And
my god.
everybody's coming or dressing up in top hats. And, you can either come dressed as first class or you could come dressed as third class. And there's different menus and you can shop and change and just have a ball.
Oh my gosh, and when is this? I might have to make a trip down to Texas.
I think it's the 12th of April, I think.
Okay, we'll have to see if I can. Oh my gosh, that sounds so cool. And what's the name of the
Right?
restaurant?
The Old English Tea Shop.
The Old English Tea Shop, and that is in San Antonio, Texas. Okay, it is on my mental calendar.
That I would freak if you came over.
That would be so
Whereabouts
fun.
are you? Where are you?
I'm in London, Ontario, Canada. So I am close to like the Michigan, Windsor
Yeah,
border,
yeah.
Detroit area.
Brilliant.
So,
Awesome.
so you've got quite the story. And quite frankly, Dr. Kelly, I don't even know where to start with you. So I'm going to start at the beginning. Did you think as a kid that you were going to grow up and were you always like an intellectual? Were you thinking, I'm going to get a PhD or a piece of paper? I'm going to go to school. You probably didn't imagine you would end up working in addictions as a child. But what was the young Rob Kelly's dreams?
Well, we grew up on the race course, which is a projects, lower projects, type, very low class, lots of violence, stuff like that. So no, I mean, I got my first guitar at the age of 3.
Hmm.
And I was on stage professionally with my auntie and uncle because we have a musical family at the age of 9.
Wow.
So I wanted to be a pro musician. I did okay at school. I got to university by fluke, a friend of a friend kind of thing. I scraped through with other people doing my work. Yeah, but there was nobody had been to college. Nobody in my extended family. You wouldn't dream of anything like that. But
Wow.
guitar is where it happened for me. I was gifted musically. I can play any instrument. My brother can't, and I can't understand that, but he'll build a house and I can't understand that. There's like these, I often say I can play any instrument. God, that's amazing. But ask me to paint a wall, more paint's on me than is on the wall. So I knew that everybody has their niches, growing up. But yeah, on stage at 9, bands and everything, going through school, playing weekends. And then I got a session job at Strawberry Studios in Stockport, which is, I think it's still owned by 10cc. And then I got to Abbey Road when I was about 19. I playing with Queen and John Bowie, all them doing sessions with them, but
Wow.
obviously drunk every day and not
Yeah.
really realizing what an amazing opportunity this was. I often tell people, they go, "Oh my God, look at your life, look at your life." And I go, "Yeah, but coming from homelessness here, once you get here, it becomes normal. Like, I don't get up every morning and go, "Oh my God, look at my life." It becomes normal. I have to work and I've got things to worry about. No matter how much money you earn, you live to your means. So at the end of the month, you're still like, it's not as bad the last 10 years, obviously, but yeah, it's just normal life, just getting on with it.
Yeah. And so then, because I know you've got quite the history too with alcoholism and addiction, and
Yeah.
that's kind of where it kind of took this trajectory from musician into addiction. And now you're working in this area and you're helping so many other people.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy the way it happened, but I was an atheist growing up after a nasty incident with the priest
Mm.
and me. Yeah, it's you couldn't even imagine where I'd been to and how I got out of that is humanly impossible as far as I'm concerned. But it was the loss, Heather. It was the loss of my two little babies when the police and authorities took them off me. The crying, walking down the path, my daughter said three words, three sentences: "Daddy, Daddy, please don't go." And she's holding on to Mummy's hand, and then she turned around halfway down and says, "Daddy, Daddy, please get better." And as
Yeah.
they got to the wrought iron gate, she turned around one more time and said, "Daddy, Daddy, please stop drinking." And I couldn't do it. I
Yeah.
couldn't do it. So that's the kind of torment I was in, which led me after homelessness of being angry with doctors that not knowing, because the medical fraternity are still baffled with alcoholism and addiction. They'd rather give you a pill to sort out a pill problem. I've still not got
Yeah.
my head around that.
Hmm.
So it was like more of a vengeance. I knew there was something different in the brain overall with moods and depression and alcoholism than what was found out. So I spent 4 or 5 years in deep research doing stuff that people thought I was crazy doing. They now call it neuroplasticity and
Yep.
they now call it neuroscience. But back in the day, when I first came here to move over here 20 years ago, they stripped me of my license to practice. They said I was doing harm and blah, blah, blah. And it took me 3 months to get them back. And then for the last 10 years, I've been lecturing to those guys, which is crazy. But I
Yeah.
always knew. Here was my moment, Heather, because people ask, "How did you know? How did you know?" I'm outside a liquor store. It's around 5 o'clock in the morning. Liquor stores don't open till 10. Newspaper shops who also sell liquor can't open till 7. So I'm there outside this newsagent. I've got a pair of shorts, little vest, pair of flip flops. It's snowing and I'm sweating profusely and shaking, can't even talk. The guy knows me. He opens the door quietly. I sneak in, he closes it behind me. And this is what I was like. You have the usual, oh, it was horrible. And he got and you could see when I sobered up, I went back to see, and he said, the pain of having to give you that alcohol. But this is what happened this morning. As soon as I held the bottle, everything changed. Immediately the headache went, great mood, shaking. I could speak properly. And I remember in slow motion, I was looked at the bottle and I looked at the shopkeeper and I looked back at the bottle and I went, "Holy crap, it's not the alcohol." And
Ah,
that's where it started for me. Yeah.
wow. That's incredible to have that level of self-awareness in
Yeah.
that moment that
Yeah.
you realize that the shaking and everything stopped as soon as you held on.
Not even
That's
open the bottle,
crazy.
just held the neck of the bottle.
Yeah.
So now we believe that, our practice and studying and teaching today is alcohol, drugs, sex, food, porn has 1% to do with the problem. Alcohol has 1%
Wow.
to do with alcoholism. I never had a drinking problem. I thought I did. I had a thinking problems. Different parts of the
Wow.
brain, especially the survived part of the brain, were hijacking my brain and telling me, if you don't drink alcohol, you're going to die.
Mm.
And that's how alcoholics are. They end up with, they can't stop no matter what happens. I stabbed my wife 3 times one night because she won't let me finish my bottle of vodka in the house. That's insane. Not
Right.
for me. It was
Yeah.
natural.
Because in that moment, if you're thinking it's alcohol or I'm going to die, you are going to fight tooth and nail to get what you need.
Correct. Correct. And that's what people struggle with. It's just like you don't. Now, there's a difference between heavy drinking, abusing, and alcoholism. Alcoholism is hereditary, and we're allergic to the ethanol. You'll always find it in your family. But yeah, the alcoholic mind is as twisted as it can be because it's real and it needs to happen. So the hypothalamus is our survival part, tells us to eat food, drink water. That's it. And controls other feelings and stuff. At some point of my drinking career, and everybody's drinking career as an alcoholic, there's linear down through the family.
Yep.
When I take the first drink, can I stop? No, you're probably alcoholic, even though it's the only self diagnosed illness in the world. And all of a sudden, you're out of control, but it's not the alcohol, it's the thinking. So when the hypothalamus hijacks the prefrontal cortex, this is what our studies have shown me, and then and it's telling you to drink alcohol, not food or water. And any alcoholic who's been through this will understand we can go days or weeks without food or water because
Right.
the brain's not telling me to eat food like normal people, and that's why it's a disease.
Wow. That is quite the perspective flip, I think, not just for me, but for probably a lot of people listening, that it's not a drinking problem, it's a thinking problem.
Yes.
That's that's
Yeah.
huge.
And
You mentioned
anybody
too.
can recover.
Yeah, so you mentioned the term neuroplasticity. So
Yeah.
I'm quite familiar with this term, but for any of our listeners who might not be familiar, can you give us a generalization? What is neuroplasticity?
So it was thought for many, many years until about 12, 15 years ago that the brain was hardwired. And if we grew up with a family and you would do that. If your dad was an electrician, you'd be electrician. If your dad lives on the projects, you live on that. I mean, it's just hardwired patterning. And in the early days, about 18 years ago, we knew that wasn't right. So neuroplasticity was discovered some 15 years ago. And it's kind of neural pathways are thought patterns. It's changing thought patterns. So there are billions in their head, and everybody's been through childhood trauma. And if you're going through stuff, it's tied direct to childhood trauma. Don't let anybody tell you different. And it's
Hmm.
not the car crash or the divorce. It's deep, deep childhood trauma. Alcoholics are more sensitive to what people say to us, so we get hurt more, but it's changing your mind. So 300 neural pathways die in the brain every single day. What are you replacing them with? Are you replacing them with the old behavior? I'll never be tall enough, thin enough, rich enough, or blonde
Mm,
enough. Because you're never going to get there, but you replace. That's what your dad said, or your mum said. Okay, you never amount to anything. Robert, you can't go to university. You're too stupid. People
right.
from the projects don't go to university. I heard that most of my life and most of my businesses. You can't open a frigging English tea shop in San Antonio. This is Tex-Mex country, and it
Hmm.
says who? So it's changing them pathways permanently. So part of the brain is called the basal ganglia. It's our repetition, strengthen, confirms of a thought pattern. When, like a pilot needs 10,000 hours in the air, that's working through the basal ganglia. And after a certain time, it becomes a working part of the brain. Like
Hmm.
when you're driving, you don't have to think about it. When that happens, if you can change 300 every single day, then what happens is self-sabotaging neural pathways disappear and new neural pathways create. When we
Hmm.
create good neural pathways and not self-sabotaging neural pathways, that's neuroplasticity.
Oof. Yeah, self-sabotage. That's something that's come up on the show a number of times.
Yeah.
So,
And that's what happens. We follow. So everything I say on podcast or when I talk, we spent $1.6 million on research and trials and tests. So we're the real deal. We work for the government, CIA, all them guys. We're very exclusive, but we're also, the other offices around the world. We take a lot of people who can't afford to go to treatment. So we balance it out, but it's it's knowledge. How can I deal with something I don't know what what it is? Like alcoholism, you're an alcoholic. Well, alcoholism is the only self-diagnosed illness. So just because somebody around the corner drinks every day, he's an alcoholic. That's not necessarily true. He drank more than me, but he didn't. He could get him next morning and go to work.
right.
Once I drank, I could not stop for
Hmm.
no reason. I fell unconscious and I came around, and that repeated until I ended up in hospital. I went to jail, not prison. It's different in the UK. You just get locked in the police station,
Hmm.
or I died, which I did on 2 occasions. But it still didn't stop me
Wow.
because the self sabotage. Because you can change a bunch of people that will change a generation. So we got 1,000 fleas. And we'd heard of this, but we do it ourselves in a huge mason jar. We put the top on, stabbed holes. We left them for 3 days. Now, fleas can jump 4 or 5 feet in the air. We took the cap off, and not one flea jumped higher than where the cap was, which was interesting, but we left them there. When they had babies in that jar, the babies wouldn't jump higher than where the cap was, and they'd never even seen the cap. So it's learned behavior and measurement equals, in a bad situation, self-sabotage.
I'm familiar with this test. I've heard about this. Um,
Yeah, it's
but it's incredible that the concept of neuroscience and neuroplasticity, that we can actually rewire our brain. That our brains are not hardwired. That we don't have to live the rest of our life with these limiting beliefs. Right. One
some
of the
people
things that
do.
And people do, and people do. There
Every day,
was
all day. We meet them every single day, you know? They get sat in we're all in patterns, and the patterns start when we're children, when we're toddlers. Mum might say, "Don't put your hand on the stove, it's gonna burn you." I put my hand on the stove, it burns me. What do I learn from that? I learned that whatever mum tells me is true. If I
right,
grew up in an alcoholic house, or a little girl did, and she watches, say she's around 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and she watches dad 2 or 3 times a week come home drunk and get into a fist fight with mom. She sees this violence, then they all go to bed, and it's like next morning they're kind of sobered up. Oh, I'm sorry about last night. I love you. Oh, it's okay. I love you too. She equates violence to love. So when
right.
she leaves the house, she will attract the same guy who's alcoholic, drug addict, self-saboteur, and beats her. In actual fact, we've done so much work on this that if she leaves the house and falls into good company and dates a nice guy, she'll self-sabotage that relationship because it doesn't feel right.
Right. That's something not thankfully not for myself. I have not personally, thank my stars, experienced domestic abuse. But as you said earlier, we all have experienced childhood trauma in our own different ways, right? We all have our own different things. And a lot of the times the parents don't even realize, everybody's a parent and that moment of time at where they're at for the first time. So they might not even be doing something intentional. It might not even be the parent, but these patterns and these learned behaviors stay with you
Yeah.
until you become aware of them and decide to change them or just keep going as is.
Well, the investment, you hang around with the people that your class or thinking is. So if I hang around, my mum was very depressed. So if I hang around 9 depressed people, I'll become the 10th. There's no question about it. We trial tested it. It's easy for 9 people to change one person. So you hang around these guys, you will
Mm,
become. He's fell into the wrong crowd at school. You've heard that 1,000 times.
yeah.
He'll start acting like the other kids that are bad boys and take time off. It's just the way it is. We learn from these patterns because our peers show us how to grow, how to act, how to behave, stuff like this. And this is why we're very big on this here. The behavioral science. My second PhD is in behavioral science, which I did about 10 years ago, because I'm fascinated. Again, how do we know this? Well, we have a big reception area at this office, and we paid 9 actors to come in. And they were
Mhm.
told, come in, we'll give you $100. It's 20 minutes of your time. Come in, get a drink, sit down. There's one person that's going to come in that's not an actor. She's a patient that we've asked to come in and, take a free Breathbox Studio session. And they were told one thing every 45 seconds, there'll be a buzzer. When the buzzer sounds, everybody stands up for like 3 seconds, and everybody sits down. Are we all good? We're all good. The patient walks in, receptionist, all 9 people stand up. Now we have a camera on her. She looks up quick, looks back down again. No worries. Second time, everyone stood up. Now she puts her phone in her lap and she's looking at these guys. On the third buzzer, so now we're about 3 minutes in. Change behavior is about to happen. She stood up with everybody else and she sat down with everybody else. We call the actors in as if they were patients one by one, and
Mhm.
she was the only person left. So now we're probably on about, I don't know, 25 minutes, 30 minutes at the she's the only one in the waiting room, and she stood up and she sat down again.
Yep.
So the 9 people around us, or 5 or 4, dictates your actions if you're not careful. So we have
Right.
to hang around the people that we want to be, not who we think. Most people make a big mistake. We attract the people we think we are worth. We don't attract
Ooh.
the people that we are worthy of. So we attract the people we think we are worth. And nobody knows their worth. And
Hmm.
not a lot of people, unless you've been through the work, knows your identity. So when marriages break up, it's usually the wives. They got, his football teams, his friends. They found themselves on their own with no identity because their identity was Mrs. Smith, or, hey, have you seen Johnny's wife anywhere? It becomes their identity. When that's taken away, it's crazy because 2 ways to make somebody insane. We did our work on death row over in Texas. Most of the people who got to the needle or the chair was insane by the time they got there, or showing signs of schizophrenia. It's the same thing. So we did some testing on that. And what we found was the PTSD levels with violent households, especially wives and soldiers coming back from Afghanistan, the PTS levels were exactly the same. So
Oh.
take away your name and take away your identity. The quickest way, you're a number in prison, you're not a name, you have no identity, you're going to sell on your own on death row. Easiest way to make somebody insane. And yet we do it every single day. We
Hmm.
stay in jobs too long. We stay in relationships too long until it all goes wrong because human beings are scared of the next thing they don't know. Billions of entrepreneurs that could be earning billions of dollars right now but they want to stick in that safe job. And what will happen many times in 5 or 6 years' time or 10 years' time is that safe job will let you go.
Have you
What are you
seen
going to
this
do then?
podcast before?
No. Are we hitting the
So
right things?
yeah. So listeners probably know, but during COVID, I was suddenly let go of that job that I
Oh, wow.
identified. I associated my self-worth and identity with that job and that title.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when I lost the job, I lost my identity and I had to go to
Yeah.
counseling and therapy and grief
Yeah.
counseling in order to, well, and then go into a deep dive of self-awareness to try and recover or rediscover, I should say, who
Yeah.
the heck am I? So without that, who
Correct.
am I? It's
I
huge.
love that you've been through that because you
I have.
understand more than anybody else, you know? I explain to people, they go, I'm going to work, it's like our family. Okay, let me stop you right there. First of
Ooh.
all, they're not a family. And secondly, and the only thing you guys have got in common is you walk around on the same piece of carpet for 8 hours a day. You cannot stuff your identity into work. They don't care. If you died tomorrow, they would fill your place in a week.
Yep.
The friends who come to the funeral will have different conversations at the funeral, not pertaining to you.
Right.
And in 6 to 7, 8 months' time, the wife will remarry. So you have to make a stand now. We don't have time.
Mm.
Everybody thinks they have, well, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it. No, no, no. How many times have you heard mum say 1 minute I'm waving them off to kindergarten, the next minute I'm waving them off to college? Where's that time go? Because we started
Yep.
this podcast some 30 minutes ago. You're never going to get that time back.
Nope.
So why would you set it home, secondly, for second best? When you can push the envelope every single day and remember 2 words, says who? Well, you're not supposed to have a marriage like that. Says who?
Says
You're not
who?
supposed to be happy every day. Says who?
Yep.
Well, Dr. Rob, I can't be happy every. Says who? Who's making these rules up? Because I don't like the rules for a start.
Right.
When me and Janet got married, it was about 10 years ago, coming up to 11. And 2 or 3 days after we got married, we got into a silly argument about something. And I said, I've been married twice before. And I said, you know something? I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this again. And she said, well, that's the way the marriage is. And for some reason, I said, says who? And we both looked at each other. We created our own marriage 10 or 11 years ago. And we laugh and we dance in the bathroom and we hold hands out there. I'm 65, she's 63. We skate, we do stupid stuff, we push each other. You know, I'm surprised she hasn't come in and thrown a sock at me or something. Because we do silly things. You got to make your own life work, make your own marriage, make your own business,
Yeah.
because I'd hate anybody to get to the age of 60 and 70 years old, look back on your life and realize two things. A, there was nobody watching you. And B, you really could have done anything you wanted to do.
Right. I often wonder about, when it's going to be my time, when I'm going to be, on death's door, as they say, and we never know. Like
No,
time is not guaranteed. It could be tomorrow. I could be in my 80s, but I could be in my 40s. And I'd never want to experience that feeling that I should have.
yeah,
That I should have
yeah,
tried. I should have just
yeah,
tried. There was somebody on the podcast, I think last year, and they said this concept that really stuck with me, and it's that if you don't try anything, you'll never do.
yeah.
Like this whole, they were saying, Yoda ruined it by saying, "Do or do not, there is no try." But if you don't try first, you'll never do.
I know.
Get out
And people
there,
are scared of
try
trying and
stuff.
failing.
Yes.
Go speak to the Beatles, guys. Go speak to J.K. Rowling, who was told to go back onto the projects, look after little kids, claim welfare benefit, and write your little books. Boom.
Right.
First billionaire author, female author. Boom. Biggest selling albums in the world, the Beatles. But all told stuff like that. But again, know your worth. Every time I'll go into a restaurant and the bill comes, we talk to the waitress on the wait staff. You're going to college, you da 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 da. Well, I'm married. Well, I'm not married. I've got kids. I'm struggling, da da da. And when the bill comes, I call them over and I point the bill at them. I point at the tip line. I go, what am I filling in there? And they go, oh, well, it's usually 10%. I mean, it's up to you.
Right.
How much is your worth?
Mm.
And it goes quiet. And then the eyes start to fill up. And I say to them, you think your worth is this freaking job? You think because you're serving people, you are less than anybody else in this world because you are not. How much am I putting here? And you're $30? I'll match the bill. Oh my God, I'll give you 100. Oh my God. It's like people don't know. And we've stopped telling people. I was in my Dallas office a couple of years ago and uh, a patient comes in suicidal, comes in to see me, goes out skipping, high-fiving the nurse. One nurse said to the other, "Did you just see what Dr. Robb did? That guy was suicidal when he came in. He spent an hour in there. He's come out, he's skipping. And the other nurse, the wiser nurse, said, I know, right? And the other one, oh, Dr. Robb is amazing. And the other nurse said, I know, have you told him that? I mean, I mean, he already knows. Nobody knows,
Mm.
guys. Stop pretending that we know. We don't. What we've been told is you can't do that. What we've been told is you're stupid what you're doing. You must be crazy. That we've been told that all our lives. You see, at the end of the day, everybody's jealous about what I have, but nobody's jealous how I got here.
Right. It's
Look at
work.
how I got here. Don't look at the cars and then look at how I got here. And if you're willing to pay that price, you can have anything in the world that you want. Period.
I love that. Know your worth. It's incredible how much limiting beliefs limit our lives,
Yes.
you know?
Love
They're
that.
everywhere. They're everywhere. And
They
until
are.
you start breaking them down, first you need to be aware that you have them. I don't know how many people go through life thinking this is just the way it's supposed to be. And I
Kills me.
challenge
Mhm.
people to
Yes.
question that. I remember not when I first started my business because I was scared shitless. We can swear this is a 19 plus podcast, but I truly love what I do. So as a landscape designer, I get to do that education, the training. I get to spend time with people, work with plants, draw pictures, work in horticulture, feel like I am, you know, making important work that is going to have a legacy. I'm going to plant a tree and it's going to be there long after I'm dead. This is work that matters. And I remember somebody saying, or I said something like, oh, it doesn't feel like work because I love what I do. I'm happy every day at work. And they said something like, well, you're not like, that's a pipe dream. You can't, you can't be that excited about your job. I think they worked in banking. And I just kind of looked
Oh
at
my
them
goodness. God
and
bless
I
them.
was like, I'm sorry that you feel that that's okay. But I never wanted to settle for a 9 to 5 that made me want to shoot myself. And I'm
Love
saying
that,
that
Heather.
and meaning it
I
because I've
love that.
seen people who have worked in jobs that
Yeah. My dad.
completely drains
Yeah.
the life from them.
Yeah. Our parents, or your friends, they all do it. We have a say, we've got a lot in common, Heather. We have a saying here, I love what I do because I do what I love. And if you're going home at nighttime to a partner, walking on eggshells, arguing every day, you need another wife or husband. If you're going to work every day and counting off hump day, you need another job.
Yep.
And people, well, it's not that easy, Dr. Rob. It really is that easy. Stop making excuses,
Yep.
Give me one. I always say this, give me one reason why you can't build a business, become a millionaire. Well, that's an excuse. Give me one reason why you can't do it. And there never is one.
Hmm.
Because I tell patients, if me and you went to court tomorrow and you bring all the evidence that you can't do it, and I'll bring all the evidence, and I mean all boxes and boxes and boxes of evidence that you can do it, do you know what the judge is going to do? He's going to throw you out of court. In actual fact, he might stick you in prison for
Yep.
wasting the court's time.
Absolutely.
We haven't got time. Don't tell me you can't do it. Well, I'm not too sure. Somebody's put that there. It's a lie. It's wrong. It's not true.
Mm.
And when we start, when somebody goes through the work that what we do and finds their identity and clears all the garbage up from the past, we become very dangerous people. Because I start business, I do crazy stuff. I signed $1 million contract on offices in Highland Park. People said, "How do you sleep at night?" What can they do to me that I haven't already done to myself?
Right.
What are they going to do? Take the office of me? I'll go and get another one.
Yeah.
You have to take these risks in life. What's the worst can happen?
Mhm.
I grew up with a guy who was he was a comedian, and he was very good. Um, he was also an accountant. He got this position to go down London, which is 5 hours away, to audition for this TV program. And he decided that he asked, could he take the time off? And the boss said no. Take the time. He told me that I'm going to stay in the job because it's a safe job. Not only 8 months later did they let him go because they closed the company, but the guy that replaced him in London for the show was the biggest TV star in the world. So what would you rather do? Stay there and somebody else's, anytime and get rid of you, so you're under the power of somebody else? Or do you want to take a chance and go down there and believe that you can get it? Because if you can't, and I'm telling you now, guys, he regretted that decision for the rest of his life. And he didn't live to 18, 19. He lived to about 42 years old, and he died a sad man. Stop that crap. Stop that
Mhm.
shit, guys. Okay. Life's here for living. Grab as much as you can. Everything, opportunity comes your way. And what you'll find is once you clear the stuff up, once you have that psychic change and do the homework you're supposed to do, not only does your DNA change, but secondly, all these opportunities start coming towards you After 11,000 patients, most say the same. Oh my God, this job's been up. The job's always been there. The
Right.
opportunities have always been there. All you did is you took the blinkers off and you believed for a second. On the back of my business cards says the best addictionologist in the world. Prove me wrong. You can't, because I truly believe I am.
Mm.
Every single person can grab a card, business card, Vistaprint, $9, get a website off GoDaddy, 5 cents, 10 cents, and start a business and build it into an empire. There's nothing stopping you. What's your niche? We got a patient here once many years ago. And I said, what do you do in your part-time? He said, I'm not going to tell you. You'll laugh at me. And I said, what is it? He said, I knit socks. I said, oh, wow, really? What for? Auntie and uncles and, birthday. And I could see the passion when he was telling me. I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm buying you a website. I'll send some business cards. I'll attach an email to it. You have to sell one pair of socks about 20 years ago. So one pair of socks per month. You're with us for 3 months. If you don't sell one pair, I'm letting you go, because we often fire people. That guy runs one of the biggest sock companies in the world right now. Every time you buy a pair, they give a pair away to the needy. That company, and he won't mind me kind of mentioning it, everybody is a leader. I don't care if you're in a broken down apartment, guys, all wife, the husband left, no good, having affairs. You sit there with 2 kids in a broken down apartment and you say, oh my God, I'm at a crossroads. Good is what we say. We love people at crossroads. You
Hmm.
think this life and what's happened to you defines you? Your weight don't define you. Your looks don't define you. Your experience don't define you. What defines you is today. We only have today. And if you can go out today and change somebody's life, you will be rewarded. 10 out of 10 every single day. Well, that's impossible. Says who?
Says who?
10 every freaking day. Get up and start the day, because that's all we have. What can you do in the next 12, 14 hours that you're
Hmm.
awake? What can you do? Oh my God, you can change the world. Well, Dr. Rob, that's impossible. Oh, really? Do this for me. Next time you're in a built-up area of people, spot somebody walking towards you with nice sneakers. And I want you to say 2 words to them. Nice sneakers. And they'll go, oh, thank you, man. Turn around and watch him walk away. He's going to look down at his sneakers at least 2 or 3 times. Now, when he goes on to the wife or girlfriend, because he's in a great mood, now she's in a great mood, then the mother-in-law calls. You've just changed the world, man.
Hmm.
Don't ever think you're not big enough or loud enough or strong enough to change the world. It isn't true. And when you start changing worlds, amazing things happen for you.
Couldn't believe more. That is something, man.
Boom.
If you don't see it, if you've never gone out, and one of my favorite examples is if somebody is wearing really loud, obnoxious pants or leggings, I will always point it out, because if you're wearing those pants, you're approachable, right? Just like
Yes.
today, we're wearing our fun glasses because it's an opportunity to create conversation, right? And the what was I just saying? See them just light up just by saying, "Man, those pants, you are rocking those pants."
I have yellow checkered pants on right now with matching yellow shoes.
I wish
You
I
look,
could see
you
them.
are
Sorry.
so brave you are, how old are you? I go 65, right? They go, "Oh, well, first of all, you don't look it. And secondly, you don't act it. And thirdly, why do you wear them?" And the answer is, I don't give a fuck what you think about me. Them days have gone, man. I used to
I
worry
love
about
it.
the reviews and stuff. It's like, look, I have so much money. I don't know. We give half it away. We give millions and millions of dollars away every single year.
That's amazing.
We proud ourselves on that. But it's like, what are you going to say? Well, this review's come on. Oh yeah, let's do some homework. So we have an investigation team, because we work with alcoholics and addicts and a lot of rich people. We need to know who they are. And when they go search these guys, you find it's a 45-year-old or 50-year-old man back in his mom and dad's house. The wife's left him for the third time. The kids don't want to speak to him. He's sat in his computer, overweight, typing a review on me. Stop it already, guys.
Yeah.
But a lot of people believe them, and their worth is what other people tell them they are.
Yeah.
And that's got to stop, guys. It's got to stop.
I love that you said earlier, the like saying the so what, right? I'm wearing these pants. So what? What are you going to say? Or says who? Why
And
not?
everyone loves it, by the way, Heather. As you know, with the glass, everybody loves it. No one ever goes, you look stupid in those. They love it. It's another talking point. I never wear normal sweatpants, never, no shoes. Sometimes I'll dress up in a pink shirt, a blue bow tie, yellow shoe. And my wife
Yeah.
goes, are you colorblind?
See, I don't know how
Oh
flexible I
no,
am. If you can see
yeah,
my
look
fun
at that.
pants.
There you go. My God, that's what I'm talking about.
Great, I just gave
That's
myself a
living.
cramp. I'm gonna have to go back to the gym. This is ridiculous. There you go. For those who are listening in their car and not watching, I just managed to lift my leg up and over my head while I'm sitting down at my office. So that was fun. There was something, though, in saying that the so what now, why not, says who. There's something that's come up a lot of times in the landscape profession and industry where I'm at and in leadership training, where we talk about getting to the root of the problem and asking five whys, right? So when somebody says, oh, so and so's not showing up for work, why? Well, they're not taking the job seriously. Why? Well, because they're not being paid enough. Why? They didn't get an education. Why? They couldn't afford it. And when you ask the five whys, you can get closer to the actual root of the problem. And I like that in asking the five whys, but also asking why not five times. If you have a good answer to me at the fifth why not, then okay, maybe you're right, but I doubt it. Bring it.
Oh,
Bring it.
dang. I've never heard that. That's so true.
I did not create it. I don't know. I don't remember where it came from, but it is so easy for people to pick at something once, and complain this and that. And, oh, well, I can't, do this or I can't do that.
Yeah.
Well, why? Why not? Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like that says who, or what's the other one when somebody says, oh, in victim mindset, where somebody might say, why me? Instead of saying why me,
Mm.
say try me.
Yes.
What a shift in mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing we use as well is, guys, yes or no is a full enough answer. Because this used to be me, right? Hey, Rob, can you come? I can't come. And I'll tell you why I can't come because the yesterday's dog said, thank you. No,
Yep.
thank you. And the hardest thing for me to say was thank you. Oh, nice shirt. Ah, just something I threw on. And
Right.
deflect all the time. I'm not worth nothing. Don't compliment me. I hate it. And you know what I say today? Thank you.
Thank you.
So hard to say for me and other millions of people like me, but I know who I am today. I know my identity. I'm an alpha male. I never was in the past. There was a sissy, musician in the corner that was scared of his own shadow. But
Mm.
I got up one morning. I said, you know something? I don't give a shit what people think about me anymore. And it was one of the most relieving feelings I've ever had in the world. It's like I can do anything I want to do. Can you go to the beach this weekend? Yeah. Haven't you got work? Yeah. And? And what? I'll do 'em
Mhm.
both. Whatever you wanna give me, I'll do. I don't care what it is. And the choices that we get back once we get well are unbelievable. You see, my world, when I was stuck in alcoholism, was this big.
Right.
That's all it was. And when I found out there's a big wide world out there, it started to change my thought patterns. I still go back. I have a daughter that I didn't see for 30 years. We got in contact 4 years ago. I handed me my 3-month-old granddaughter when I went down there. But I go back to the same bars that friends used to go to, and they're in there doing the same old, drinking the same old shit, talking the same old crap about how bad the wife is and the kids, all that stuff. And I'm like, you're 65. Is this it for you? And they look 65.
Right.
They old and and I tell them, man, have you ever seen an airplane?
Hmm.
Because you need to get on it, man. And I tell people a couple of things with the diseases. Okay. The two causes of all illnesses in the world, including psych illnesses, is toxicity and deficiency. What am I being poisoned by? You would be very surprised from the supermarket. And what am I deficient in? What,
Hmm.
because of the methylation unit. If I can't methylate probably 60% of stuff sold in the local supermarket, sunflower oil, GMO. I can't methylate that stuff, and neither can no human being. So what happens is I'm eating the stuff from the supermarket, even some salads and fruits, and I think I'm doing really well. But let's say I can't methylate beans or peanuts. What happens if I can't methylate a certain food or protein? There becomes a deficiency. The deficiency causes the disease. You can't have heart disease passed on through the family. It's
Hmm.
biologically impossible. But when
Right.
you leave home, you're on the same staple diet, and dad he can't methylate beans. So when you leave home, you can and you get the disease. And the third one is oxygen. The presence of oxygen equals the lack of disease. Period. Might drop, walk off stage. People want to argue. Well, stop. We only breathe 45% of our lung capacity. Did you know that every disease in the world starts in a hypoxic area of the body? So when we go to the gym and we feel great after coming out, it's not the dumbbells. It's this in between, getting that oxygen. And that's how we tell people to start the day. The subconscious
Right.
brain wakes us up because the subconscious brain loves hypoxic situations. Well, after sleep, very low on oxygen, flood the body with 20 exaggerated breaths first thing. Not only do you snuff out the subconscious, but the conscious kicks in. And
Huh.
then what we find is the subconscious is like this all day long, waiting for something to grab hold of. Because most people, when they come to me, they go, Dr. Rob, I've had a bad day. And my reply is always the same. Was it really a bad day, or was it 5 minutes you've strung out all day? It's
Hmm.
always the 5 minutes.
Right. I know I've done a few workshops and whatnot with breath work as well. And I know this is something you do. So before we wrap up, I do want to talk to you a little bit about that. The Breathbox Studio. This is cutting edge stuff that you're doing. So can you tell us about this really cool thing that you're doing?
So it's a combination of breath work, 20%, uh, 80% subliminal messaging. So you'll have music, you'll have a narrative. You put headphones on and a blackout mask, and you either lie down on the floor or you sit. We have chairs as well. And it's structured with the subliminal messaging. And there's 9 subliminal messages, 9 dimensional, 9 subliminal messages going on every 45, 50 seconds. And it restructures self-sabotaging brains to fantastic uh, neural pathways that are created that are good and positive, and you start finding who you are, and it's permanent. We have like 70 different programs. So anything that you suffer from, we can, when it comes to psych in the mind and repairing the mind, we can change with this software. It's breathbox.studio, and it's online. You can do it in
That's
person or
so
online. We
cool.
have people around. We have groups of teachers. We have yoga students. We have kids. Up to 100 people online. It's very reasonably cheap. You can get a community going where we come on once a week and we take 50 or 60 of you, and it changes. We found out that it changes all the psych problems. But we have sales guys coming. We go to sales teams out there, and their performance goes up by 30 or 40%. We go to CEOs, we go to health clinics, we go to dentists, anywhere that we can uplift the staff and the owners into a different mindset, which it 100% does, is absolutely a miracle. So we're kind of talking to RFK right now about the breath box, because I've never seen anything like this in 30 years of the industry, where it permanently changes in such a short period of time. So it's like going to a therapist for a year. You can do that in 45 minutes in my office.
Wow. Like that is what a way to, with all of your experience and with all of your knowledge, you have created something that people can now access, and what a way to give back. This is just another thing when we're talking about, what comes after you. It's extraordinary. So it's very
And
cool.
I'll tell you what I'll do. So for Heather's followers and viewers and listeners who get on the website, I'll make sure you get a free breathwork session. We'll get one night when we can all turn up free and try it out for 45 an hour. That's all you need. You need a computer or iPhone or something with headphones. That's all you need. And try it out free. And just for this show, there's a book out there.
Ah,
That's my daughter. That's me on a visit, wasted completely.
yeah.
Just and so this book, don't buy it off Amazon, please. We got 25 copies on this show to give away. Can't send it to Canada, unfortunately, but anywhere in the US, if you're here, guys, let us know. I'll sign it. I'll ship it. All that stuff. Free of charge.
Amazing. What a great offer. Thank you so much. Dr. Kelly, we are up for time, but I am so grateful to have had you on this show and to have the opportunity to just have this conversation with you. It's an extraordinary time we live in, that because of a website, I believe we met each other through Podmatch, that we were able to meet and have this conversation, because otherwise, without Zoom, without the internet, without Podmatch, we likely would have never met each other.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm very grateful for this time and for you sharing your expertise and your input for myself and my listeners, because I know I'm certainly changed from just having had this conversation with you. So thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks so much, and we will see you around. That brings us to the end of this week's episode of Hops and Hedges, hosted by me, Heather Gerard of My Landscape Artist. Now, before you go, here's a quick word from our sponsor, ext.tech. In today's fast-paced world, landscaping businesses need modern tools to keep up with constant change, and that's where EXT comes in. EXT is transforming how landscaping, snow removal, and construction companies manage their operations. Using streamlined client management, real-time financial insights, and a modern mobile app your team will actually enjoy using. And with flat-rate pricing, there are no surprises, just clarity and control. If you're ready to revolutionize and grow your landscaping business, visit ext.tech to learn more. For additional savings, use the code HOPS10 at checkout, or just tell them that Heather sent you.